Hi, this is Roger Smith, and I'm the host of the True Blue Lounge. And today I have an exciting guest for you. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Without further ado, let me introduce you to my guest, Matty P, the man behind Ras Kitchen. Hey, Matt, how's it
Cheers.
going, man?
Roger, thank you for having me on your show. Appreciate it.
Nice, nice, nice. This is a pleasure for me because I've been watching for ages and I've got a lot of questions and stuff. So I think the early introduction was a friend at work telling me about this YouTube show called Ras Kitchen. I knew nothing about it. The dude was African American, and I kind of was a little bit insulted that he was telling me about Jamaican stuff that I didn't know about. You know what I mean? So it was one of them things. So Matt, how are you, and where are you at the moment?
Yeah, doing all right, living, and I'm in Kingston, Jamaica right now. Just here for a couple weeks, shooting some videos and seeing some friends.
Nice, nice. I look in the background there, man, and I'm looking. And is that Airbnb or just the air?
Yeah, I get the cheapest places I can find, and then I usually kick myself for trying to save $20. But this place is all right. This is kind of a strange setup, but I'm right by the beach, close to the skate park, close to the waves. So yeah,
And
I
it's
got.
nice and safe.
Yeah, it's chill. Jamaica's chill, as you know. Most places it gets a bad rap, but overall it's way more chill than
Right, right.
it's shown.
Seeing. I was just there, man, and I just have a blast every time I'm there. And
Yeah,
it's my wife's happy place, and it's a relaxation.
absolutely.
So my style at the moment, it's just getting to know you and vibing. Luckily, I don't know you, so this is going to be exciting for me as we go along. So just just enjoy yourself, and let's see how this goes, man.
All right.
Yeah. So take me to 2009 when you just started this Ras Kitchen. What was going on in your mind?
I just finished university. I was living in Australia for a year, and I guess I stayed in China too for a couple months because I was trying not to come home during the winter or spring. Can be pretty bad in Canada. So Um, I had got home. I had gone back to my old job, which is a door to door sales job that I'd done for a long time. So, not ideal, but the whole economic situation with jobs and stuff wasn't very good at the time. So, I was happy to have something to at least make some money. And I was always doing video stuff on the side, shooting skateboarding and whatever, more for fun. But I wanted to work in film and TV or something like that, but there was no jobs at the time. So, yeah, I was just at home and came up with an idea of like, oh man, I'm really interested in Ital food. I don't see anything on the internet about it, and thought, okay, well, there's something no one's done. Uh, no competition, something unique.
Yep.
Okay, maybe I can be the first one to try to produce something. It wasn't an, uh, an idea to have a YouTube channel. I mean, YouTube was, I didn't even know you could get paid for it. I had a skateboarding channel on YouTube and had a personal account since they started. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Jamaica and shoot a pilot, and I'm gonna pitch it to networks and that kind of thing. So that was when it was tape cameras, and I had no money, so I bought shit on my credit card from Future Shop and borrowed it for the month, and then returned it when I got back. So thanks, Future Shop, for that. Appreciate it. And yeah, that's basically what I was doing, just kind of scratching away for something creative while doing this door to door job.
So how did you choose what locations in Jamaica to go to, and why Jamaica?
Well, there's a bunch of different reasons I was interested in it growing up. I have some cousins that are half Jamaican in Pittsburgh, and when we'd visit them, they'd always talk about Jamaica, and they would go every year and spend time with the family. So I have this sort of like
Were they
Jamaican
the
cousin.
cool cousins? Were they the cool cousins?
They're pretty cool. Yeah, you know what? If I line up all my cousins, I got nice cousins, but those are the cool ones. Yeah, for sure. So there's that reason. I really loved hip hop and dub and reggae back in the day, and I had no idea what anyone was saying.
Right.
just like the music. I didn't understand patois at all. So I was kind of curious, like, what are these guys talking about? I have no, what's a bumbleclaw, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, just travel in general. And it was just one of those ideas on the list of 100 videos I could make. And it kept kind of coming back to my mind. And after researching it, no one had done it. So that was the catalyst for like, oh, okay. It's pretty close to Jamaica from Toronto. It's a 4-hour flight. I got a super cheap flight through Miami for, I think, $400. And I brought one of my friends from college with me to help me shoot it. So yeah, that was how I ended up here in the first place. 15 years ago, I guess. 2010 was the first time.
So what kind of equipment did you have at that time, considering how long ago it is? And how did you choose the locations in Jamaica, not being a yardman, so to speak?
Yeah, well, I had what was it at the Sony something or other tape camera, right? So it was on digital or mini DV tapes. And I got a little handy cam from Future Shop. And I ended up in St. Thomas. I originally found, I was looking for someone to work for before I came here, so I wasn't flying completely blind. And after looking up Ital food, I couldn't find barely anything at all. And there's a really nice family who I've become pretty close with and know the family well, the Bernie family from Michigan. And they had a site called Worlds Together Travel Network, where Diane and Dave would travel to just cool places. And then they'd help people in the area kind of get a little guest house thing going. And you could stay in India with a family or Peru. And then they had Jamaica on there. And they had little clips that Dave had shot of a Rasta man cooking like an Ital soup or something, or making a bash. I don't even remember exactly what the video was, but it had, this guest house, which this is pre-Airbnb, right? So it just had the guy's phone number. So I just called it. And it was Mokko, who I worked with for a long time. And it was literally the shortest conversation ever. I said, hey, I want to do an Ital cooking show. Would you want to do some cooking on camera? Yeah, man. And then that was it. I came to the airport and was hoping someone was going to be there. So
Nice.
that was it.
Okay. And that was the start, and that was the entry. That's
yeah, the first trip.
Wow. I did not know that Mokko was your first once you went to Jamaica. So that trip, if you don't mind, how long were you in Jamaica and how much did it cost you? I mean, I just want to know what your burn rate was, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the burn rate went on for many years. I mean, it didn't cost me that much because luckily my friend Eric came for free. So thanks, Eric. I just paid his ticket and food and stuff. And then I already owned the camera. I had to buy some DV tapes, so maybe $100 for that. Flights were $400 each, so that's like $800. And then paying
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah,
board.
usually just breakfast and dinner over on the yard there, but paying for accommodation at his place and paying for food and whatever taxi costs. So, I mean, I don't remember exactly, but it's probably less than $2,000 that first one because it was super budget, and I was borrowing gear from Future Shop.
Right.
So.
And how long was that? Were you there for?
Just 7 days.
7 days. Okay, just a week. Boy, oh boy. So, what made you? What was it after that 7 days pilot that you said, you know something, I'll go back. I like this.
Well, it probably took me a year or maybe 9 months or something to even put something together because I didn't really know what I was doing at that time. And that's a big thing to try and go through, a week's worth of videotape on DV tapes. And the camera got smoked out from the fire and some of the tapes were messed up and dealing with different formats. And I didn't have the technical knowledge to, I'm dealing with digital video on some crappy handy cam and then trying to mix that with DV tapes and formats. And so, yeah, I finally put something together and I did actually get some pitches in. So I was pitched at Food Network and a couple other spots, and every place said the same thing, which was, oh, this is really cool. Nah, it'll never work. But I still had a really good time and I still really thought it was interesting. And he was definitely a character, and with a lot of editing,
Right.
it worked.
When
So I
you say
still
a
do,
lot of editing, I get the impression there was a lot of editing.
even to this day or whenever it ended. Yeah, it was a lot of editing to make it what it was. Um, but I don't know. I still thought it was unique, and no one was still doing it. And I thought, I mean, there's so many people in this world that love Jamaica, love, maybe even they're just like a ganja smoker and they like that vibe, or maybe they just like reggae and they don't know what this real culture is. What's Barrington Levy saying? They have no idea. Okay, look at this. There's a show with captions now where you can kind of follow patois and hear it. It was just something unique. So I went back the second time. Oh man, it was like 4 years later. And again, I paid for everything myself. I brought two other people with me this time, former students of mine, because I used to teach at a college. And kind of similar deal, like no budget. I paid for the tickets. They were willing to come on a little adventure. Shot a bunch of stuff. Nothing happened again. And at that point, I just started putting it gradually on YouTube. Maybe in 2011, I started putting it on YouTube. Just that was the thing you did when you failed. At
Right.
that time, it was, oh, you didn't get in the TV network. Oh, you can put it on YouTube. Oh, great. That's the last thing I wanted to do. But then I was moving to New Zealand 2015, and I wasn't sure if I was ever going to come back. So I went one more time in 2015, this time on my own. I'm like, I'm going to give this one more try. And I came for a week, 2015, shot a bunch of stuff, and I thought it was really unique as well. Like, I thought that it was cool, and I had a couple friends that really enjoyed it, even though it wasn't blowing up or anything like that. And then I had that footage while I was in New Zealand and was editing while I was living in a van, and that's a whole other story. But it's kind of when it started to get a tiny bit of traction, like online, because even 1,000 views or 2,000 views seemed like a lot back then, right?
Yep.
When you're just starting, 1,000 is a lot of people. Even hundreds is a lot of people if you think about it. So
I'm lucky to get 200 now, so I'm building. But
yeah, but
I have
just
big
think about
ambition.
that: 200 people,
Yeah.
200. That's a lot of people that
Can be
clicked on
bothered.
it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
could be
Yep. Yep.
like we're interested to click on it. So I don't know. You kind of get blind to the numbers, but it's a lot of people. 200 people is a lot.
For me, when I think for me, what drew me in wasn't the food, wasn't the cooking. What drew me in was the family, Ratty, and I think the fact that it's rural Jamaica, that even Jamaicans, middle class Jamaicans, can look at it and say, "Is that Jamaica?" You know what I mean? It was a little bit different,
Yeah,
catching janga in the river and things like
yeah,
that. I grew up in Jamaica. I've never heard the word janga before, but that's because I'm from Westmoreland, and that's
different
probably,
vibe. Yeah.
you know what I mean. So it was really really good. Is there any memorable story that you can tell on your Jamaica adventure tour?
There's a bunch. I don't know if they're safe for. Oh, here's a fun one, kind of. So this is my very first introduction to Jamaica. So we land. He's at the airport with a driver and picks me up. And within 5 minutes of being in Jamaica in a taxi, which obviously, if you've taken a taxi before, you pay the driver and they drive, and that's it. But the very first thing he did within minutes of being there was take me to a gas station and try to also get me to pay for the gas.
Wow,
And
wow,
I
wow.
said, no, 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 dude. I might be new here, but I'm not new in this world. You pay for the gas. And I just said no. And then he's just went, ah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm like, okay, here's what I'm getting into. People are gonna try, but they're not offended if you say no. Okay, I can deal with that. Yeah, that's all right.
That's good. And being a white guy in Jamaica, at that part of the country, how do you find the way you're treated?
I find it very chill and super relaxed over here. I realize that my Jamaican experience is very different from most people because the first like 6 or 7 trips I came to Jamaica, I was only in Eastern Jamaica, like
Right.
Portland, St. Thomas, um, maybe a little bit in the Blue Mountains kind of thing. Because I'd heard this thing where like, oh, it's such a hustle and people won't leave you alone and people are kind of mean and screw face. And I was coming here and walking around little villages in the country, and meeting friendly people, and you walk by some guy's yard and he's giving you some fruit or
Yep.
something. And I found it like a completely welcoming environment. And as far as me not being Jamaican, I felt totally welcome and very chill. And I still feel that way overall. If you go downtown Mobay or Hip Strip, or I haven't been to Grill since 2019, there's more hustle there for sure. But most of Jamaica is quite chill and relaxed, I'd say. You have a lot of real conversations and meet a lot of real people. I mean, in the sense of, you can meet someone, they're not trying to get something from you. They're just interacting, and that's it. And that's a beautiful travel experience. So that's been my overall experience, even to today, I would
I
say.
agree. I agree. Jamaicans are, pretty articulate, and they want to talk. If you tell them where you come from, they're going to have a story, or ask you pertinent questions and stuff. So cool.
Yeah, totally.
Jamaican meals. So when it comes to food, what is your go-to, man?
Whoa. I mean, the best breakfast in the world is breadfruit and roast breadfruit, ackee, and saltfish. I think that's like, I don't know, number one breakfast for me. It's so good. I love having it here. I miss it when I
What
go
about the
home.
dumpling, the boiled dumpling?
I love the dumpling. With the right sauce on that, every dumpling is a good dumpling.
Yeah,
Pretty basic, right? It's just flour and water, but you put the right stuff on that.
yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
serious thing, serious thing. What about the soups and stuff?
Soups is funny here. It's a big soup culture, and it's so hot here. But people are still sipping soup on a hot afternoon. But I love that vibe that you can just pull over roadside anywhere and get a soup, and you don't know whether it's fish soup or Jenga soup or Ital soup or even the cow skin soup I can get into.
Yep.
I like it a lot. I actually had soup today, or I guess it was more of a porridge. I went to Ibo Spice Portal on Orange Street in Kingston. It's a really great Ital restaurant, and I'd been a couple times in the past, but hadn't been for a while. So, wind's going out here. Just had an incredible porridge with some. What else did he do? He roasted up, or he fried up breadfruit, savory plantain, sweet plantain. So you had this. I don't know. It was so good, man. It was
Nice.
peanut, banana, and plantain porridge. So not quite soup, but soup-like. You're just sitting there in the hot sun, sipping this hot
They'll
thing
make
down.
you strong, that kind of food will make you strong, So.
Yeah, I feel it. I'm feeling pretty strong lately. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nice, nice. Hey, so what's really nice, Matt? Whether you know this or not, I've seen videos with you in where you've directed it, and I've seen videos that don't have you directing it. So the difference people can see. So when you were getting a hard time, I was the one, in my mind, I was thinking to myself, when everything went down with you initially, I was the one in my mind, I was thinking, there would be absolutely no reason. If it wasn't for Ras Kitchen, I would not even be looking at all of these Jamaican YouTube channels, because it was my introduction, it was my door.
Yeah.
And another thing I'll have to tell you, as a Westmorite, because I'm from Savlamar area, a little place called Amity Piperskana, I wouldn't know as a Jamaican that part of the country was so pretty. I wouldn't even know. And kind of untouched. You know what I mean when I say untouched? It's not touristy,
Definitely.
So if it was a few. So it was really good to see how you were able to pivot away from the negativity, and I give you some props for that. I really do, because it was very soon after. So
it wasn't an easy time for sure.
What was it like? Stressful? I mean, it must have been tough hearing people talk ill of you when you put a lot of good time, soul, hard-earned money, have your friend them a fly for their time as well. How did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I lost my family here. I felt like I used to have a family. It was almost like coming home to Jamaica, because I've known a lot of them since I knew Ratty since he grew up, or since he was a baby, and I knew his mom since she was like 15 or something like that. And I'd stayed there a lot of time over the years. So I'm used to a certain level of shit talking, keyboard warriors. I mean, when you get to any level on YouTube, you get that no matter what. And yeah, it's definitely painful when you hear that, when things are at scale, like things that have a lot of views and stuff, you just have a bigger amount of people that think ill of you. So like I was kind of used to it in a sense, and I was a door-to-door salesman before, so I've had lots of doors slammed in my face and got abused in that. So it wasn't particularly new. But I think in that situation, there was a lot of things being said that weren't true at all. And when you see people believing these things that are completely fabricated, and you go, I can't believe you're saying this. Like, how could you go and do that when I've put in so much to like help not just him, but the family or helping people in the area or whatever. So yeah, it wasn't easy. And I didn't want to get into a YouTube drama for back and forth, even though drama is what sells on YouTube. And you saw how many people jumped on board that were trying to have their opinion and
They had a
blah, blah,
story.
blah. Like so many videos. And I don't know, it was a learning experience. It made me very aware of when am I judging someone else and I don't know the actual story. And
When was the straw for you, Matt?
Sorry?
Machu. I should call
Yeah.
you Machu. When was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
straw? When was the straw for you that broke the
I'm sorry?
camel's back? The straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh, well, there had been issues in the past, or I used to run the Airbnb, and I get some angry guests telling me like I'm a thief or whatever, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Everything that comes to the Airbnb goes right there." Like,
Right,
so
right,
I've had
right.
little things in the past, but the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, was he'd gone on a video and said all these things about me that weren't true at all. And I had come to Jamaica right then, and I'm meeting people, and they're like, "Yo, Matthew, is this true?" I'm like, "No, it ain't. It's not true. What the hell?" Like people that I'd known for a long time. So I realized like it had really gone around and kind of been on vlogs and news and stuff. So, like I
Have
said,
you
I didn't want to get
have you
into.
shut that door now?
Yeah, I haven't been there for
Fully?
almost a year and a half, and I haven't had a word with anyone since, yeah, over a year ago.
So I'm a different kind of animal. I'm a bit of a provocateur.
Yeah.
What if I told you I think that people were manipulating them? And sometimes, when you don't know where you are, if I don't appreciate what you've done for me, or I don't understand the gravity of what you're doing for me, someone can just come around and get in my ear. Yeah,
Oh, that's exactly what happened. Absolutely. And these
yeah.
people have contacted me before and told me
Right,
and
because
threatened
because
me
because
before. Yeah.
because those people you worked with, I'm telling you, from the purity of those people that you were working with, you could see on camera. But
Mhm.
once you get these other people, when you weren't there, they come down and they film. Once you get the other people in the mix, it was,
And once it's a bunch of people doing it, because it wasn't just one, and I
yeah.
know many of them by name, and they've called and threatened me before. And I'm not going to name them. I'm not here
No,
to
no, 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 no
stir
need,
up
no need.
anything, but I know who they are, and there's a bunch more I don't know as well. But that's exactly what it was. And even though I had good people like the family I was telling you about that got everything going in the first place for them, they were trying to help and
Broke it
save
down.
the situation and go through and explain, but it was just
See,
that's why it's funny when I get these comments like, "Why don't you just talk it out like men?" It's like, you don't think I've tried that 100 times? Eventually, though, you just have to for your own sanity and your own stress level, and it's just not worth it anymore.
Ratty looked as though he was operating the drones and stuff. So he looked like he was getting really really good. It's a shame that he doesn't get. I hope all of those people that helped to get in their ear. I hope one of them will help Ratty get a channel one day, if you know what I mean.
Mm. Yeah, it'd be cool. I mean, he's really good at it. I
Yeah.
I hope. I mean, he's the one sensible one over there. So I really hope one day, he's always so good with guests. Since he was a kid, he could interact with everyone. He's
Bright
entertaining.
kid.
He's clever.
Hmm.
I really, really hope that one day he could take that business and turn it into what I wished it could be.
Yeah. I was thinking, man, this is a good opportunity for that kid to get from that district and get into college, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
don't mean, and don't get me wrong, I don't know these people's business and I don't know what the career progression is, but just looking as a yardman myself and looking and saying, man, imagine if that kid got into a nice university and was able to do business communications and videography or something, it would have been a real nice story, you know. Hey, Matt, so Grenada, I love when you went to Grenada, I thought that was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know how people would react to that, but I was really happy that people did like it.
Yeah,
So
so the pivoting. So you've been to a couple of islands. How would you, when you make a comparison with the vibes, how do you feel? And I'm going to say this: whenever I've gone to the Bahamas, I've always felt that it's a watered down culture, and I hate to admit that, but there's no kind of vibe. I go to Barbados, and you go to is it St. Lawrence Gap? The ladies are drinking really nice rum. Barbados has its own little vibe. Everywhere has a vibe, except Bahamas. Why is that?
I mean, I've been to a few places in Caribbean, maybe 4 or 5, maybe more. Yeah, Green. I mean, it was super cool, but I guess it's just a lot smaller than Jamaica, so the vibe's definitely different. It felt like a more relaxed, more quiet, maybe more clean. I don't know if it was watered down as far as culture goes, but I mean, anything compared to Jamaica seems watered down, right? I mean, Jamaica hits hard
On all fronts. On all
on
fronts.
all fronts, whether it's sports, music, culture, like all these kind of things. Jamaica is like batting way above the rest.
I
So
don't know if you remember South Africa apartheid era, but if you remember, all the songs out of Jamaica was, Free Nelson Mandela, But I'm just saying, as you said, hitting hard on all fronts.
yeah, and to compare it to a smaller island, I don't know how many people Grenada has, but I mean, you can drive around the whole island in a couple hours. Like it's pretty chill, and it doesn't have the big hotel thing, and it didn't seem to have any of the um, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, like crime or dangerous areas, or if it did, it was a lot smaller. It was just smaller scale, right? So I think everything to scale, it seems very relaxed. But I really liked it there. The people were awesome, and the reason why I say it's not watered down at all is that Grenadians were a vibe. Like we got there and we're doing shots of I forget what their rum is called, but we're like doing
Hey,
shots on the
someone put it in the comments, because I don't know what the rum's called. We have
yeah, and they're
Ray.
playing Grenadian soca in the car, and like everyone in the car is just jumping and knows all the words. I'm going, whoa, no, Grenada is a vibe too. It's just a different vibe.
Nice. I I used to have friends from Montserrat. So where else have you been? St. Lucia?
No, I've been to Cuba, Dominican Republic, Grenada, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, and
Okay.
maybe another one. I forget.
You love them Spanish-speaking Caribbean countries, it seems.
I guess so. Just from Toronto, those are easy to get to, and they're relatively affordable. So,
What was Cuba like?
uh, it was kind of weird last time. I'd been 20 years ago, and it was pretty awesome. And I met a bartender there first night, and they put me behind the bar. I don't even know how to bartend, and they sent me home with a bottle of rum. And the next day, I'm touring around the island with the bartender, and he's taking me to his family house and showing me his dad's car, and he even was trying to hook me up with his cousin. I was like, "This is amazing!" Like 20 years old or whatever.
Right.
So that was interesting. When I went last year, I just did a resort thing, and it was very strange. It was mostly French Canadians and Russians. And the food, I don't know what happened during pandemic or their supplies or what, but it was like I can deal with bad food. I'm pretty well traveled. I can get by, but even this, I was thinking, what? How do you make food so bad? It was rough. And this was supposed to be a nice place, so I don't want to judge the whole island based on one resort experience, but it was a high rated place, 4-star or whatever it was. and it was very questionable. So the place is amazing, the beaches are amazing, but my last trip was, I would definitely call watered down because I was doing the resort thing.
Well, the embargo would have caused, I would have thought, them not to be able to get as much supplies as most people.
Yeah. Yeah. And even for a resort, or even basic things like fresh fruit and stuff, you'd expect something. We're in Cuba. That's something they don't have to import. And I remember the one day they had dumped out like a jar of maraschino cherries for fruit for people, like you'd put in a cocktail.
Yep.
And like some brown, wet looking bananas. Like, yo, how'd you get your bananas wet? Why are these things wet? What is that? What's going on here?
I think we don't. Cuba got froze out, and when they say got frozen out, I mean, I doubt if even Jamaica wanted to help Cuba with fresh fruit, vegetables, and other supplies.
Yeah.
I bet you they couldn't.
It's rough because you can only imagine if it's this bad at a 4-star resort, what is it like for local people?
Yeah.
And I just felt like this is a really crazy situation, and I have no idea what people are dealing with over there. Because when I met them 20 years ago, like I said, I met friends right away, was in the mix, super cool people, and this trip was much different. But again, I didn't really do much adventuring on this one. I was kind of sitting there drinking Cuba Libres,
So tell me this much. So do you remember when you had 20 subscribers for Ras Kitchen?
Oh yeah.
You do remember that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah, it lasted a few years probably.
Okay. That's nice to know. And the other question I want to ask you is, were you always comfortable in front of the camera?
I mean, when I shot the pilot, I wasn't intending to be in it at all. I was more just trying to make a show about Ital food, but it did not work working with who I was working with to just have one person. So it needed some kind of interaction. So I wouldn't say I was uncomfortable. I'm not as comfortable as I am now just because I've done it for so long. But yeah, it definitely wasn't the intention. So yeah, it did definitely change.
For me, I think COVID and us all being on Zoom calls and stuff for work just made it so easy to be able to get on camera. But I have to say, I hate listening to myself after.
Oh yeah, you didn't start to love your own voice yet?
No.
Oh, you got to get to that point.
Yeah. So even I'll probably, after I release this, probably 3 weeks from now, I will actually listen to it then. But so I'll have a conversation with someone and it says, "Hey, when you asked such and such this, it was really interesting," and I'm like, "Did I?" Because I haven't. It's tough. So is that a thing people have to get to love themselves?
I think if I've just heard myself on video for so long, I'm used to it. So when I hear myself, I'm like, yeah, that's how I sound like. So it's not weird for me anymore.
Any code changing in your accent, being Canadian? When you have to go to Jamaica, you have to be understood. So I'm sure you're going to have to pronounce some words a little bit different in Jamaica, so people,
Yeah, like when I'm here, I definitely mix in some patois, and when I have someone trying to hustle me or something, I really break it out. So that works really well. It's like I just need to show like, hey, I'm not new here.
Right.
Like
I have to.
Guy, they're like, okay.
I have to say though, when I hear the patois, I never think, oh, it sounds so false. The reason it doesn't sound false on you is because I see you there in the mix, interacting with real country people that even their accent makes me go, hey, what did he, you know what I mean? What did he say? So that's pretty, it's pretty cool to be able to seem relatively authentic or not, comfortable is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing with patois, though. It's so interesting to me because it is very much a different language, but it has so many similarities to English. But it's kind of in that middle space where people think like, oh, you're just putting on an accent, and it's sort of like, well, yes, you are, but also it's kind of a different word.
Yeah.
So, when I go to Indonesia and I'm speaking Indonesian, people don't think it's weird that I'm trying to speak Indonesian with an Indonesian accent. That's just what I'm trying to do with the language. But if you have foreigners trying to speak patois and people don't understand the culture of Jamaica, realizing that it really is a dual language country
Mm-hmm.
with Patois and Jamaican English.
Mm-hmm.
Um, people make fun of you or say you're a poser or rip on you or whatever, and it's not really like that at all. To me, I really do find it's like another language, but I'm also very cautious on camera. Like I'm not really trying to speak Patois on
Yeah, yeah.
camera, but I'm trying to also interact and make myself understood.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to stand out too much. So I don't know. It's like, I guess I mix a little bit in, and I'm still not nearly where I would like to be. But luckily, there's great books and stuff. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Andre Cuff? He has a book called I think it's called Speaking Patois.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's a guy that's born in Jamaica but lives in U.S. and he wrote this amazing book,
Mm-hmm.
really breaking it down
Mm-hmm.
linguistically, and it
Mm-hmm.
was really interesting to see. Yes, this is Patois as a language structurally, how things are set up in sentences and tenses, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was really, really interesting to see it broken down in a proper way because there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a lot of resources for that years ago, right?
Right, right. Louise Bennett was always an advocate. She was a folk, I think she was like a folk singer, probably a pretty bright educator in Jamaica. And she was always pushing for Patois to be its own language. And I think, in its early origins from, slavery days, wherein, it was picking up the words from African words and mix them with the English words so that that the slave owners wouldn't understand. It's pretty powerful. It's really
It's
funny.
amazing.
I was in England, not in England. I was in Jamaica, and I was talking to a friend of mine at Digicel, and he was Irish, and he says, Roger, I heard this term Gansey, and he's got the wicked Irish accent.
Yeah.
And he said it's like an old Irish word, Gansey. And it's really funny because for him to come to Jamaica and him hearing this word that maybe his granny uses in Ireland,
Whoa.
but people are saying, I suppose Jamaicans don't use it that much now, but he remembers his grandmother saying it. It was really funny because now, the Irish came over to Jamaica as indentured servants as well. Not as well, we were slaves. But they came over, and I suppose, a lot of language was mixed in as well. So, man.
That's the beautiful thing about Patois. It's got so many influences and it's so unique. You got words from different parts of Africa. You've got Spanish, French, Irish, Scottish, Indian, Chinese. Like there's so many words that are a part of day-to-day speaking here. I don't know. So even place names. I mean, they got Rio Grande in Portland, right?
Yep.
No,
Yeah, I'm a little bit I'm fortunate in that I've lived in Texas for like 29 years. I was born in England. I spent some time in Jamaica, high school and primary school. So my accent is all muddled up. But when I speak, Americans think I'm putting on an Jamaican accent. And I suppose when I go to England, they think I've got a little bit of an American accent, which I can't tell, And Jamaicans, them just say, boy, Roger, you sound like Roger, so I'm okay.
Yeah, you got a Roger accent. That's a cool thing to have.
Yeah. Just
a good thing. I got a friend like that too. His name's Chaminda. I think he was originally born in Sri Lanka, but grew up in UK, but he's been in Canada since I knew him in high school. Doesn't sound like any of these places. He's got a Chum accent, and that's it. It's a good way to stand out. Just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got an Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. No one sounds like that.
That's right.
It's very good for media stuff, I think.
Imagine if you wanted to go and buy something in Jamaica. You know how to go and ask for it because you've been in Jamaica. You know the different words someone would use for the same kind of things, and then you imagine someone just out of Canada or America trying to do the same thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. You go up to 3 or 4 guys and you ask them a question. And you may be from Manchester in England and you've got this weird accent, or you know what I mean? So sometimes you have to be able to put a little bass in and slow it down and speed it up and emphasize your words.
Yeah, it's good to have. I got a funny story about that where my friend Eric that came with me the first time, he did not know what anyone was saying at all, ever.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't think he didn't understand. They just thought he was too high from the herb. So they'd be like, "Yeah, Eric, you mash up," and Eric's just going like, "Yeah, mash up." And then they just start calling him Mashup. So now his name's Mashup,
Right,
and that
right,
was
right, right.
his nickname in Jamaica.
Wow.
And so whenever I call him, I still call him Mashup.
Mm-hmm. So, do you do you take time out, Matthew, to look at the content that you put out, look at the analytics, and say this worked, this didn't. Let me try this.
I do, and I should do it more because it just gives you a picture of what's actually engaging and what are people interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Although I find YouTube a very strange place right now where rather than coming from a place of creativity or wanting to make something unique,
Mm-hmm.
they're considering analytics more than they are actually considering their
Content.
own piece of art that they're making.
Mm-hmm.
And I do consider it art. Like I don't even know if I like the term content. It sounds so throwaway.
Yeah.
And people are trying to game it for views and subs, and I get that. I totally understand that, but
Mm-hmm.
the whole game has switched from trying to make something good
Mm-hmm.
to how can I get the algorithm to recommend.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find it kind of a bad place as far as video as an art goes. It's a shame that you have this giant platform in the world, biggest in the world, however many billion users,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where people have to start.
Mm-hmm. I want to
So
talk to inspiring people, and I want to have honest, authentic conversations. I would hate to feel as though I would have to sensationalize a thumbnail to
yeah,
make, you know what I mean?
you have a big ass on your thumbnail for no reason, you know?
You know what I mean? Nothing to do with the story, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
And you
I
see people
couldn't.
do it all the time with jumping on these like hot topics or drama.
Is Jamaica safe? I got
Yeah.
robbed, or
Yeah,
something
well,
like
all
that.
this. I was talking with Irie from Jamaica the other day, and we were both just going, these people that are coming to Jamaica right now and making this kind of, I don't know the right term for it, poverty porn, or being like, I'm in Kingston, the war zone. Here's my experience. And then you watch a bit of the video and go, oh, look at these nice people you're meeting, and they're showing you around. I don't see one gun anywhere.
Yeah.
I see you completely safe with all your camera gear. What the are you talking about? War zone. But these videos with these thumbnails and these topics get a lot of clicks and get million views because they're very dramatic. So I understand why people do it, but I don't know. It's not a good look for Jamaica or for an algorithm to recommend these sort of negative type videos, and nothing ever happens in the videos.
Yeah, I know. They go down to Trinidad, they go down to
Oh,
Nicaragua. I don't know what it is. You know, if you probably, I don't know why you would want to say you're visiting Kingston, but once you start saying I'm visiting gangs or I'm and you try put the whatever the bad term, I'm going to Tivoli
yeah.
or I'm going to Remo or something like that. And once you start that, it's all for extra engagement. But I feel cheated, and when I watch the video, I actually feel cheated because you're looking to see something that never materializes.
Yeah, and I don't want to play the game either. Like, okay, I was in Arna Gardens 8 months ago. Everything was fine. I was hanging out with Big Stone and George Pong, like a leader in that community. And I didn't want to give it some like crazy title, but I mean, those are some legendary guys. And unfortunately on YouTube, it didn't really recommend it that much. And I thought it was very interesting because they're both very interesting guys from Jamaica. And George Pang was a music producer and community leader and was put in jail for being involved with Dudas Coke back in the day. And I'm sitting there in Arna Gardens with the man of Arna Gardens. And I don't know, to me, that's a lot more interesting than walking around with a GoPro going, I'm in the war zone. Like,
Right.
that's a big disservice to people actually going through war right now to even compare that. I don't know. It's kind of disgusting to me, a title like that.
So having 752,000 subscribers,
Sounds big when you say it. Yeah.
yeah, and congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Do you feel any sort of responsibility sometimes for your content? Do you feel, and when I say do you feel, sometimes when you're reflective, do you think, man, so for example, if you were to have a bad experience, there's 752,000 people know that, boy, Matt don't like American Kentucky because Jamaican Kentucky is much, much better. You know what I mean? I changed what I was saying there, but I'm trying to say you could influence things by virtue of the fact that if you went somewhere and had a really bad experience and was able to say that, people would probably look negatively at that place.
Yeah, I mean, and I've definitely had them. And there, like I said, there was a lot of editing I had to do, even in what I was previously doing to make it the way I want it to look. But that's what it is. It's a YouTube show. It's not like it's not a completely candid, just walking around with a GoPro filming everything vlog type thing like some people do. So I don't know if I feel a responsibility to do anything in specific, but I guess I feel a responsibility just to make the kind of videos that I want to make and be true to myself. So it's exactly why I didn't jump in on all this drama, because I could have had a ton of back and forth and blown stuff up, and I barely talked to anyone about it online. Like, you're one of the first, or I might have mentioned it in a live stream when someone's asked me a question. I'm going to do an interview with Irie with Jamaica because she asked me to, and I've met her. She's really cool. So, but yeah, I think that's more where my loyalty lies. It's starting to rain over here. Hopefully you can hear me all right.
Yeah, I can hear, man. I can hear well. Yeah. Your mic is good. So let me ask you this. So when you look at your early videos, can you see the maturation? And when you watch a video and you're going to make the next one, do you say to yourself, I was doing this and I don't think it works so well when I watch it back. Let me try this. And is something in motion that you're always doing?
Yeah, I mean, you're always trying to improve. I think if you're any type of creator, you're always just trying to make things better than you did before. Every time I've come to Jamaica, every single trip, I've always tried to upgrade something, whether it's the camera or a lens or a new 360 camera or a drone or a mic or a tripod, like something. Every single time I come, I'm trying to like step it up a little bit. Yeah, it definitely took me a while to find my feet because it's pretty raw before. I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I wanted to take really beautiful shots and make it more cinematic. And, I really, something that helped a lot with engagement was I used to just kind of do a linear kind of story, like start with some nice B-roll and then what we're into and then cook and blah, blah, blah. And then I started putting like maybe just a 30 seconds of something really interesting, like super engaging at the beginning of the episode, and then go into the music and have it start from there because you need a hook, right? So that was actually super helpful to realize, oh, you know what? This linear story still makes sense and I still like the flow, but it's going to attract a lot more people to listen. So I don't do it on every video. It depends on what's suitable, but that definitely helps because you need your engagement to be there for YouTube to recommend it. So it's kind of a mix of staying true to what I want to make, but also engage people because you literally need engagement for anyone to watch.
Do you write a script?
Never.
Nice. I don't. I like to have guidelines, but no script. I never hear you tell. I don't remember you saying subscribe, comment, like. I never hear you say that, but
I should do that.
Yeah.
I should have done that, and you know what? That's why it's got so many views and not nearly enough subscribers. Because for whatever reason, I was like, I don't want to do that. But it definitely hurt the subscriber count because a lot of people don't know.
I keep forgetting, and right at the end I
say, and it's
please subscribe to my channel, please.
I'm subscribed to you, so don't worry, I'm on there.
All right, good. Yeah, man. That's good. So, have you got any exciting collaborations coming out? What's the plan?
Yeah, I got some really fun stuff. I'm really excited for. There's a guy I met at the Ital Food Fest last year. Super cool guy. His name's Desai, and he has a company called Desai Naturals, and he makes roots. And he was cooking Ital at the food fest, and he's just a really cool character, and you could tell he knows a lot about nutrition and health, and he's a real vibe. So I'm going to link up with him. I'm linking up with Bulby Soups, who's a famous soup guy here in Kingston, who has soup that sells out. Like if you don't show up in the first 15 minutes, the soup's gone. So linking with him. I'm going to link up with Jamaica with Irie, who's originally from Ukraine, but has been living here for a decade.
Okay.
I'm going to link up with, my friend Buru in Blue Mountains. And I've been hanging out with him for like 6 years when I'm here. Every year I try to come by and hang out in the Blue Mountains. Who else I'm going to meet? Ross Rod in Portland, I'm hoping to catch up with again. Every trip is sort of 1/3 planned, 1/3 semi-planned, and then the rest I just leave up to the universe and see what happens.
So you kind of look out for the Jamaican YouTubers, and then you say, if you like what they do, you say, I'm going to check that guy and see what he's about. And get some recommendations.
If it works like that, unfortunately, what I've seen in my experience is the collaboration is not always a collaboration. You get a lot of people wanting to latch on to what you're doing purely because of numbers. They don't really give a shit about what you do. They might not even like you, but they're going to try and get involved purely from a numbers sake. And I think that's a terrible way to collaborate. And then you meet other people that are great to collaborate with. So like Mick from Yod Life's Good. He's a young up and coming foodie guy here. And you can have a real collaboration where it's like, I'm going to big up his channel. He's going to big up mine, hopefully share some audience, have a good little adventure together. And those kind of collaborations are the real ones. But I've seen so many people, you can tell instantly, they're just trying to latch onto something. And the amount of people that went to the yard that I used to film at, made vlogs, got tons of views, and never mentioned the channel once. You can instantly see where people are coming from, and what their intentions are, and what's really going on in their heart. It's like it's purely numbers thing. And I don't like that at all. I don't want to make a video with someone just because they have a big following. I want to like what they're doing and support them, and hopefully help give light to their channel. Like the tide raises all ships. Why not big up the people that introduced you to it, or why not? It takes 5 seconds. Hey, I'm gonna link them below. I try to link every channel below that I do.
That's nice. That's nice. I mean, I think, Matt, that it's very obvious what you're saying, in that when you see people at the yard, you can tell exactly what they're doing. They've looked, and rather than them say, boy, I really liked that piece that Matthew's done, they try and, I mean, you've done, my man's cooked all kind of something. Some of them shouldn't even be cooked, as you know what I mean? Some of them will just make up, and people are going there trying to do it. And I'm like, this has been done already. What are you doing? You know what I mean? So it's just, it's
not authentic. It's not authentic at all. And it's so easy to do. Like, you don't even have to like it per se, but at least mention it or link it. It's so easy. Just in the info below the YouTube video, just link every channel. I don't even have to do this, but like, I use different websites for music and stuff. I don't have to tag them. It's just part of this website subscription, but I try to tag every artist and put the name of the song so people can look it up. Like, it takes just 30 seconds. Why not try to big everyone up that helped put this whole piece together? It's not just me. There's all these other people that are a piece of it. So try to help them out too. I don't know. I just find it so lazy when people don't do that.
When you've done collaborations with Food Boss, Mark Wiens, and boy, I don't know how them man they stay slim. Do they throw up after or what? What's going on?
I don't know. He's a beast.
Them man they eat till they sweat. I see them. They eat till they sweat, and I'm like,
I couldn't keep up with them, and I'm like twice his size.
Boy, oh boy. So these collaborations, do they do well for your channel or not?
Yeah, it really depends on the collaboration and if they big you up or not. It's like, I did really like working with Food Boss. He was super cool and took me to some unique places. wow, working with Mark Wiens, that was probably the best one because he's one of the biggest food vloggers in the world.
Yep.
And within the first intro of the video, he's bigging up the channel and saying, check the link. And I think from that, the videos he did alone, we got like 60,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So that's what I mean about raising all ships. It doesn't hurt him at all, and it's just helping someone else out. So why not do it?
Have you seen that guy eat pepper?
No, I don't think I have.
No, he eats pepper no matter where he is in the world. He
Oh, you're
eats.
talking about Mark? Yeah.
Mark,
I thought it was
Mark.
a YouTuber. Yeah. Oh, dude, I saw him eat a purple scotchy, like
Something's
the
wrong with him,
craziest scotchy. That guy, him and Joel, his friend Joel. My God, I can handle some spice. Those guys are on a whole other level.
Yeah. They definitely are. I watch a lot of his stuff, but it's really funny. It started off, didn't have no time for YouTube. Somebody at work says something to me. I go over to Ras Kitchen, and then through Ras, me start to see all these other stuff, and then the learning is just unbelievable after that. So culturally, what would you say you've learned about a lot of the people that you've come to interact with?
I mean, it's pretty basic, but I've learned that just people are just people. It doesn't matter where you go in the world. People are really not that different.
Mm-hmm.
They might look different and listen to different music and eat different food and maybe have some different opinions. But at the end of the day, everyone's just trying to live and be happy and be healthy and like enjoy their family and just enjoy life. Like that's the essence of it all. I spend a lot of time in Indonesia too. And I stay in a little surfing village in the north end of Sumatra where it's Sharia law and all the women have to wear jilbab or a hijab, whatever you want to call it. There's no alcohol, and there's no movie theater and whatever. But there's still super chill, nice people. And I love going there. It's at the end of the day, everyone's a lot more similar than they are different, I think.
Scene. So I was looking at Earthly Eats, your other channel.
Yeah.
And I saw that you were in KL because I've spent some time in Malaysia.
Nice.
And there's something, so I love the malls in Malaysia, but when you go to a mall, I think it's like on the ground floor, or kind of basement floor, they have like their food court. And their food courts are just something else, American food court, you look around, or maybe a Canadian one, But their food court is hardcore street food, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's got the Chinese influence, it's got the Indian influence, it's got the Malay influence, so unbelievable. I love that place, man. Love that place. Yep.
Yeah, I love going there too. Luckily, I get a lot of layovers there. So I've been to KL probably like 20 times, even though it's just for a few days at a time. But that's the place where I go after living in Sharia law with no alcohol for like a month. And I go there and I'm just I go crazy.
Yeah. I've they have these funny old what's it called, karaoke bars,
Yeah.
You're in there. I think it was about the third night I'm there. I'm there with a couple of guys, a couple of engineers, and we were working for like the telecom company there. And the guy says, "Hey, Rod, you want to go out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come out." So we're in this karaoke bar. All of a sudden, 4 girls come in the karaoke in the booth. None of them can hit a note, and it's kind of like an opportunity to take one of these girls home. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm a little bit of a Jamaican, being cautious. You know what I mean? I'm like, hell no. That place, even if I was single, that place has the most lady boys per capita. It's like
maybe Bangkok, but
Bangkok, Thailand, but but it was really, really. But they love their karaoke and stuff. But the place is nice, and if you're into electronics and stuff, there's a lot of Chinese markets in Malaysia, so you could always come find if you break something on your GoPro. I bet you can find something out there for you.
Oh yeah, I've had to like take the train to go buy a random piece for a drone or something there before. Definitely.
Insane. My last question for you is: when you do lose your drones, like in Jamaica, what happens?
When I use them?
When you lose them?
Oh, well, I've never lost one.
Okay, you buy the expensive ones that come home.
Yeah, they all fly back to you. So I've crashed my drone damn, is it only twice?
I
And I
drive
crashed
up.
it once in Jamaica up on the hill in a place called Higher Heights.
Mm-hmm.
And I got greedy because it was really pretty. I'm like, oh, it says 5 minutes. I'm just going to get a couple more shots. And then all of a sudden the battery just went really quick. Crashed it into some, what's the name of the long grass? I can't remember it, but on the hillside, you get this really long grass.
Okay.
And luckily, it had enough battery that I could hear the hum of the drone, and I was able to go find it close to me. So
you're lucky a yard man never hold on to it until you say more than 10,000 feet. You know?
Yeah, it didn't happen, no.
Yeah.
I would have given them maybe 2,000.
I always say to myself, so I remember you finding a goat one day with the drone. You remember that?
Yeah. We found Kelly with the drone.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, remember, see me, I watch it, you know, I tell you.
Yeah, big up.
So I always think to myself, it would be a really good for some of the kids in the rural area, you know, to buy some drones and to get some sort of accreditation to be a good drone pilot. Sometimes you could help for search and rescue in natural disasters. You could help the police out. You know, it could be a consultancy. I think it's a really good idea. I think I'm going to see if I can sponsor something similar, you know?
Yeah, it'd be cool. Kids love it. Well, everyone loves it. I mean, even guys, when I was hanging out in the grill, you know, by the fishing boats, just taking some shots, they're curious about it. And they're so easy to fly. I already have it in the air. So I'm like, yo, you try this. Got this, you know, fisherman flying the drone for me. And he's tripping because he's never used anything like that. It's kind of out of his wheelhouse as far as technology goes. So, but, you know, okay, press that stick, move it around. Here's the dial to make it tilt. And they can trip out on that. So, yeah, I love getting kids involved, whether it's my friends' kids messing with it or, you know, Ratty was on the yard flying drones, I think, since he was 3. Something crazy like that. Like, he knows how to do everything, like get the battery in, undo it, get it to take off. But, yeah, it's a cool thing. Definitely a good idea.
If he was to reach out to you, would you entertain him?
Yeah, him, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a shame. I can't reach out to him, you know?
No, I understand. Yeah. Cool. Hey, Matt, I want to keep in contact with you. I really appreciate you blessing my little channel here, man, and having a nice chat with me. And I will say this much. I'm surprised at the internet in Jamaica because I spoke to people in London. It ain't been this clear.
Oh, it's getting better here, man. I'm telling you. I just got a Digicel card. It's got like unlimited internet on it for the month. Nice. So things are getting better here. Every time I come to Jamaica, because it's every or 6 months, like they're nice enough to place. Jamaica is going places. Nice. I really think this place is going to keep getting better. So
cool. Yeah. Anyway, much love, man. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Roger. Thanks for having me on the show.
Walk good, my virgin. Thank you.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.